Good night, everyone. We are very happy to have our guest, Abigail de Gaspari, from Conscious Living Spirit Group. She is our speaker today to talk about the book called Courage, Chapter 7, Spiritist Questions. So let's welcome to Abigail. Abigail.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Let me try to put in the background another. Now, I think will be better.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Abigail, we are so delighted to have you here again. I wish you Jesus and the good spirit be with you, and the time is yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate very much the invitation. And it's always a blessing for us to be together and have the opportunity to share our studies about our beloved doctrine, Spiritism. So today, we are going to talk about the book, Courage. I'm going to ask Patricia can put the PowerPoint. Thank you very much. We are going to talk about this book, Courage. And the item and the chapter that we are going to study, the Spiritist Question. This book, unfortunately, is not translated yet in English. So for those who speak Portuguese, I recommend it because it's a book that gives us a lot of courage and a lot of hope. And I don't know you guys, but we all need a little extra dose of courage and hope these days. And this question, Spiritist Question, and the whole chapter, the whole item in this book, Albino Teixeira is going to talk to us, help us to reflect about our participation and collaboration with Jesus and Jesus' harvest. And the goal of our talk, the same way that inspired me in my studies, to ask us questions. That is going to help us to reflect the right questions we need to ask ourselves. How can we collaborate with Jesus in this harvest, in these moments that so many people are suffering, so many people are in need of a consolation and hope and courage? And the famous question is Spiritist questions that I do know. I love Paul very much. And if anybody have read the book Paul and Stephen, is a wonderful, is a spectacular book in our doctrine, educate us in so many levels. And the famous questions that Saul, when in the entrance of the city of Damascus, he saw Jesus and he was mesmerized with the light of Jesus. And he fell on his knee and asked Jesus, "What do you want me to do?" He didn't say anything else. He just asked Jesus, "What can I do? Tell me what I need to do." So that became, I was so inspired, and I'm rereading this book again. This is the kind of book that is nice to read several times, and every time we read, we benefit to learn a little more. There's so many lessons, it's so profound. And I got inspired by that question because he was persecuting all the apostles, all the people who believe in Jesus. And he was so devout to his laws and his belief. But when he saw Jesus and Jesus light, he didn't need to say anything. He just asked, "What can I do? Tell me what to do." So I got very inspired by that. And I included that in my prayers every single morning when I woke up. And I asked Jesus, "Tell me what you want me to do today." This inspired me to obey his laws, his lessons, and educate me and protect me in so many levels. So that's one of the way to look at all these contests in this lecture today. So we are going to read a little bit what it is this chapter, the Spiritist Question, tell us. So Albino Teixeira is the mentor that psychographed this, is psychographed by Chico Xavier by this spirit Albino Teixeira, and says, "You sometimes claim the impossibility of collaborating in spiritist tasks, excusing yourself in the face of the difficulties and snags you still carry. If you don't carry the sign of this or that weakness from which you are presently on earth in the process of healing, if you don't watch within you possible lower tendency, those that point out to us the depth of the past existence, struggling and sometimes even crying for improving yourself. This little bit of text, Albino Teixeira invite us to reflect because all of us are invited to collaborate with Spiritist task. And many times we say, oh no, I can't, I don't know yet. I need to study more. Oh no, I don't know, I'm shy. Oh, I don't know, I'm not confident enough to do a talk. There are so many difficulties that we present ourselves. And we miss the opportunity to collaborate. And here he said, wait a minute. If you don't have those signs of weakness, because we know the Spiritist doctrine educates us that all of us are imperfect beings. All of us have our defect of characters, our weakness, our flaws to overcome. And that's the journey. So many times people say, oh no, when I eliminate those defects of character, I'll help. Oh no, I can't because I have to do this, I have to do that. And after this, I'll do what is necessary. So the invitation is for us to make those questions, asking ourselves those questions. Why we are not collaborating yet? Or why am I allowing these difficulties be in the way? Because as we go in our journey in this planet, every day is a step for us to get to know ourselves and improve our low tendencies. All of us have. All of us. And most importantly, that's the journey. Many times it's carrying our fragility, our defect of characters and work on them. We are able to help the other people. And we'll see that in that talk, and he talks about that. So the goal here, all of us in this moment experience struggling. If we look around the situation, the planet and the city, it's so funny. Another day, a friend of mine called me. She said, Abigail, the world is ending. I was not informed what's happening because it looks like so many things are out of, out of order. But in reality, what's happening, all the trials, the turbulence is here for us to improve ourselves. And that is the purpose of our incarnation, to improve ourselves. And the question there is in that test says, what will be of you in the construction of the good? So all this work that present ourselves, all these difficulties that is presenting ourselves, is for us to exercise our muscles of resilience and overcome them. So the invitation here is not to wait until we eliminate all our low tendencies, because God knows when we're going to do, because we are so imperfect being. Remember, we're in the beginning of our journey of evolution. So it's a continual work. And that's why we needed to do simultaneously, because it's a continual work for us in our progress. I remember when we starting, I started studying and starting organizing the conscious living. We didn't even have the name yet. We're in the basic learning. And Suzanne invited me. She said, let's just do a preparation. You know that reading that we have before we do a prayer and the reading, and we say like a few words, and normally we would say like about 5 or 10 minutes. And the first thing I said, oh, I'm not ready. Because immediately comes that defect of courage. Oh, I don't know what they're going to say. Maybe I'm going to do something wrong. It's all bubble inside of me immediately. And I'll never forget what she said. She said, we are never ready. We get ready as we go. We get prepared. We study and we continue, because there is no possibility of error, because all of us speak from the heart. And we are sharing the message of Jesus. That's the most important. We are offering a message of hope and consolation. And the good spirits are here to help us, so we're never alone. So our participation in the construction of good depend on our willingness to keep working in spite of our fragilities, in spite of our defect of characters. And the text says, we refer to this because the Spiritist is called to make light in favor of himself and the benefit of others in the field of education. And if you suffer nothing to learn, how can you clarify and understand, help, or teaching? This is a very good point. It's very inspiring for us because here Albino Teixeira is saying, listen, all of us spiritists, we have a vast doctrine to help us to make light within us. And we can help ourselves and we start benefiting of others. And if we are not doing this work, how can we understand the other person that's suffering? How can we help it? How can you share the lessons we have learned? The lessons of Jesus that help us to improve and evolve a little bit. So that's the journey. So as we go in our inner transformation, we make a little bit light and benefit others. Sometimes our example speak a lot louder than a whole nother lecture that the person is. One sometimes witness an act of kindness, an act of respect, an act of no judgment, listening carefully someone. So all this way we can make a little light and help in the field of education, a spiritual education from our brothers and sisters, our education and their education as well. And to do this work, I don't know you guys, but I like to go back to basics, to the simple. I go back to gospel every time. So here we are being invited to work in our healing, our own healing, and help others as well. And sometimes it's very hard. So I go back to gospel every time I need to get myself aligned again with Jesus and Jesus' work. Very, very important. Most important than anything, many people are getting overwhelmed. There's so much turbulence around. There are so many people facing difficulties. I talk with several people that say to me, Abigail, I'm so overwhelming that I cannot even pray. And there are many moments that all of us experience a big bump in life, and it gets very difficult sometimes. And that's why I go back to gospel in that moment. And I like that passage from Mark when Jesus says, watch, be vigilant and pray, because you don't know when the time will come. And I love the way Jesus, when he needs to say something, let's wake up, guys, he say in an imperative way, watch, be vigilant and pray. And for me, in my understanding, I'll put the next one, it's necessary to watch, that is, to examine, to ponder and reflect so that our vigilance is not incomplete. Look, reflect, ponder. After that, naturally, you'll be ready to watch and pray. So for me, this is Jesus helping us in these moments when we have so much turbulence in our lives, when our flaws are showing up, our defect of characters is making us isolate in ourselves. This is a big manifestation of a spiritual lack of spirituality, lack of connection with Jesus, with God. Many people are isolating. Many people are having a lot of fears. Many people are having a lot of anxiety. So Jesus come and he has been telling you for thousands of years, Watch, be vigilant, and pray. What we need to watch? Watch for me, in my understanding, what the doctrine says, help us to focus, to pay attention, reflect and examine what's going on in the present moment that is creating the overwhelming feeling, is creating the anxiety, is creating the fears. Watch, watch carefully that defect of character that is locking us sometimes in our own home, in our own mind, isolating ourselves, or making us work without even notice what's going on inside of our own home. And when we watch, an invitation is to put more attention what's happening. And many of us needed a kind eyes, sometimes a loving ears. How many times there are people next to us suffering and we don't notice? Many people were locked inside in the family, and they realize I don't get along with them all that well because we're not together much. But now when we're together much, we see how many difficulties we are facing. So watch carefully what's happening right now. And when we look with more focus, then we have more chance to be vigilant. We will know what we need to be vigilant about. So when we watch, we identify maybe the choices that is done by our ego, by our fear, by our anxiety that is creating so overwhelming feelings. But when we watch, we can identify so we can be vigilant. And when we are vigilant, we're a little bit quieter and pay a little bit more attention. And in this way, our mind opens a little bit. It's from that space in being vigilant that we have a more possibility to make choices from our immortal being perspective, because we are more connected with Jesus, with our mentors, our guardian angels, all the spiritual family that is around us, guiding us. But sometimes we don't watch, so we don't hear their guidance. And when we watch and being vigilant with this open mind and more connected, then we pray. And this prayer goes higher in different realms, and we get all the assistance we need. So this is a very important step in our healing and the benefit of making light for us and benefit of others as well. So we make our vigilance more complete when we do that. And our prayer reaches more realms, higher realms. And I got from the book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life, this chapter that is just phenomenal understanding, give us so many perspectives for us to reflect on and ask ourselves the right spiritist questions. Watch yourself. Persevere in watching yourself and the doctrine carefully, because by doing so, you save both yourself and those who hear you. So here again, Paul inviting us to persevere in watching yourself. So this healing, making light, watch yourself, be vigilant is all around our doctrine because it's pivotal for our evolution. And Emmanuel comments that earthly difficulties are enormous indeed, and they demand a great effort from noble souls in transit on the planet. Nevertheless, each disciple must watch him or herself. It's essential to watch one's inner life carefully, to value and accept discipline and examine the needs of the heart. So here is a wonderful way he described how important it is for us to observe, watching ourselves, understand what's going on here. And that's the way we can accept discipline and examine the needs of heart. It's very important that we attend our basic needs in our heart as part of our spiritual growth. That's the main purpose we are here in this incarnation. And he goes also and says something that is very important. To watch ourselves carefully entails working on our own salvation and redemptions of others. Salvation here, I also quote evolution. We are supposed to work in our own evolution and redemptions of others. And pay attention because he puts a word and. He make it two different moments. Working our salvation and redemption of others. It's two separate things, and we're going to talk about that. And he says, Emmanuel says, this is the logical way to acquire lasting values. That's what we want. Lasting values. We want the spiritual values we are gonna take with us. That's the only thing we take with us, what we acquire in values. The actions that we have done in construction of good for us and for others. And of course, all the choices we make and the consequences of that. So here is some questions for us to reflect. How is our personal care? Very important that in this work, in working our evolution, we take responsibility for our personal care. That means physical care, emotional, and spiritual, in all level. In our ability also to learn self-love. Very important. And Emmanuel said, the charity of helping us, doing what is ours for our salvation evolution. And the reflection on how we are taking care of ourselves and integrating our misconceptions about our moral progress. So here, all these questions, to reflect in all these questions, how we're doing that? How is our ability to self-love? Are we helping ourselves? Are we taking care of ourselves? What are we doing for integrating everything that is keeping us from our moral progress? So all those are reflections for us. And he goes, the confusion we make between selfish and self-love. This is very important. There is a big difference because selfishness is the biggest disease there is. It's right there in the gospel. And I want to read a little bit here from this book here, After Death, from Leon Denis. This book is fabulous. If you haven't heard yet, it's a very good reading in education. The chapter 46 says about selfishness. Selfishness is the companion of pride and proceeds from identical causes. It is one of the soul's most terrible illness and the greatest obstacle to social improvements. On its own, it neutralizes almost all the individual's effort towards the good, making them unproductive. Thus, all the supporters of progress and justice must endeavor to fight it constantly. So here, Leon is telling us this is the most terrible disease, the selfishness that locks us in our egocentrism, like it's all about us, our problem, our difficulties are bigger than others, and I cannot help, I cannot do all the things that keeping us from collaborate in Jesus' harvest comes from the selfishness. So in order for us to progress, we need to cure. That's the main cure. And he says there constantly, this is what is keeping us from helping us the construction of good. Our selfishness is the barrier that keeps us from not to building the goodness around us, to construct and collaborate with Jesus in the goodness. So learning how to balance taking care of oneself and being service of others. So the antidote of selfishness is to take care of ourselves and simultaneously assist in the redemptions of others. This is very, very important distinguish we need to do. So it's not about just being selfish and don't care for my neighbor. I'm going to take care of what I needed right now. I cannot help. Sorry. It is very important that we help. But it's very important also that we take a good care of us. So self-love has nothing to do with selfish. It is our responsibility. It's the first charity. We take care of ourselves. That's why in the plane they say the oxygen is first for you and then in the hands of others. So the self-love is pivotal for us in our inner transformation, our evolution. So the selfishness in one pole is no good because it's all about us. Self-love is very important. But if I stay only taking self-love, that exaggeration can become selfishness. So it's the balance. So I take care of me. It's very important. Self-love. Do everything I can. It's very important. Give my body the nutrition, the rest, set my boundaries, do my prayers, everything I can do to nurture my soul, educate and fulfill my spiritual connections. Very important self-love. However, it's also important that simultaneously we assist others. So we want to talk what do we understand? That's another reflection for us. What do we understand about the redemptions of others? We cannot do for others the salvation work. That's why Emmanuel made this distinction. Our salvation is our responsibility. As for our neighbor, we will assist, and each one does their part in their process of evolution. So this is another distinguished difference we want to point it out. Here he puts, we help us and assist other, but just assist and benefit of their own redemption. So our responsibility is to take care of us. We cannot take responsibility to take care of others. We assist them, but each of them needs to do their process of evolution. I cannot say, Jana, Patricia, can you please do that work for me? No, I cannot. They can assist me, but the work needs to be done by me. So that's the difference that Emmanuel brings. That's why he put the word and between the two movements. Very important that we learn that the progress, our responsibility is individual. That's why we have the free will. We can assist, but everybody has their own responsibility for their own process of evolution. So the Spiritism is called to make light in favor of himself and the benefit of others in the field of education. So we repeat this phrase because it's very important that you understand that. We are here in this incarnation to do exactly this, to make a light in favor of ourselves and benefit of others. And for us to do this work, it is very, very important that we walk with Jesus. So here is for our reflection. There is no way we can do this work without Jesus, without our relationship with Jesus. So the burning question is another good Spiritist question. How is our relationship with Jesus? Because any other relationship we needed to build and invest every single day. So how is our connection with Jesus? I don't know you, but the way I'm measuring mine, when I'm in fear, when I'm very anxious or preoccupied, when whatever is up here, that's an information for me. Opa, I needed to get closer to Jesus because I'm a little bit separated, because when I'm in this mindset of fear or anxiety and turbulence, I'm not being vigilant, I'm not quiet. I'm a little bit distant from Jesus. So this is very, very important for our reflection and invest every single day, because sometimes we invest in our relationship with God or Jesus, because when we invest in our relationship with Jesus, We are investing in a relationship with God because we are all one with our Father, right? So this is a practice in a daily connection to expand our relationship with God, learning to get on His hand and help us in many difficulties. And many times we don't invest and we remember about Jesus when everything is very chaotic, sometimes with a lot of turbulence. And that's the moment it's harder to feel the connection of Jesus. So we need to, especially when everything is doing well, that's the most wonderful way to continue to nurture our relationship with Jesus. And remember, Jesus is our therapist and our friend, and He's our brother. I remember the first time I entered in Spiritism here when I moved here in the United States. And I didn't know really Jesus, and I heard about and I heard about in the Catholic Church, but I never really understood. So as soon as I started coming to the Spirit Center, I started doing Spirit's book study. That is a fabulous course, by the way, a fabulous must have the book is fabulous, and in studying a group is wonderful. And I remember like it was yesterday, we are talking about Jesus, and I asked in the group, I asked Susan, I say, who is Jesus? And she said, your brother. Oh, that was for me like, my brother? I didn't know I have a brother. Like that, I felt so honored. I realized I was, in that moment, he was my brother and God was my father. It was the moment I felt in my soul. And from that moment on, I knew I would be working Jesus Harvest. I want to get to know Him and I want to expand my relationship with Him. And I learned it then that He's the guy that I can hold my hand and help me in every single moment that I need. So from that day on, I started my relationship with Jesus and learning His lessons. And most importantly, He's our therapist, He's our friend, He's our buddy, He's our big brother. Most importantly, He's our guide. So I need guidance. I know He's holding my hand. So when I experience fear, I go with Him because He has a firm hand to help me to overcome my difficulties. And He hears me and He consoles me and He gives me all the love that I need to overcome anything. So this is a imperative relationship for us to invest, to keep it making light and keep it going in our evolution. And another point for our reflection is how, that's a burning question, how is our commitment to work at Jesus Harvest? Most importantly, because for me, this center, just like conscious living, is a point of light. Has helped us, has helped you, and it will help a lot of people that need consolation, needs hope, need education, need to learn to make light in order to help themselves and to help others in benefit of others. So this point of light needs to be open, needs to be continuing. And there are many centers in Brazil, they are closing their doors because the people are not coming back. They are not participating anymore. They are isolated in their comfortable in their own home. And many times I heard, oh, everything is online, I don't need to do the work anymore. And here is an opportunity for us to reflect and renew our commitment to work in Jesus' harvest, because this point of lights, yours there and ours here, in that end of the states, needs to be open. The same way they helped me, they need to help others. Helped you, there are many people that need to be helped. And most importantly, another point for us to reflect is so many spirits got together. Our spiritual family, our mentors, they got together to create this plan for our incarnation. We kind of forget sometimes, but it was a lot of effort. It's a privilege to be incarnate in this present moment, because I sincerely believe that we are experiencing our best incarnation ever, because it's the incarnation that we know Jesus. It's the incarnation that we know is Spiritist doctrine. It's the incarnation that we are learning that we are immortal beings, and we are here to integrate our difficulties, the low tendencies that we bring from many incarnation, and the way to evolve, to help us to make an evolution. And we make a commitment to work in Jesus' harvest. Was not a coincidence that you guys are in the center, opening that point of light, and we are here in the other side of the state, open our center. We came from Brazil, but we are here. This was planned. So we need to honor. We don't want to waste another opportunity. We don't want to go back in our mind and say, oh, one more time we forgot. No, we don't want to. We want to make the best of this incarnation. And the invitation is here now. Our commitment to work in Jesus' harvest. Let's keep our center going. Let's dedicate and let's renew our commitment to go ahead. And every time that I need any hesitation that I have, I go back to the gospel, go back to the basis. And many times this chapter, ask and shall give, it is just what I needed to wash my heart for any concern and help me to connect with Jesus and renew my commitment for this incarnation. And many times it's not just our commitment with our center, because Jesus' harvest is not, how can I say, does not necessarily mean just in our centers walls. It means in our family, in our community, in our work, the way we act, the way we look to each other. So the opportunities for us to shine our light is immense. Even when we go to Walmart or a telemarket call us, all those little moments, an opportunity for us to shine a light and benefit others. So when I have hesitations, when I feel a little tired, when I need to renew my hope, my strength, I come to the gospel. And the gospel says, ask the light, may enlighten your way, and will be given to you. Ask for the assistance of the good spirits, and they will come to accompany you. And like the angel of Tobit, they will serve you as a guide. Ask for good counsel, and it will never be refused to you. Knock at our door, and it will be open to you, but asking sincerely with faith and trust. Faith, fervor, and trust. Present yourself with humility and not arrogance. Simple words, but it's the perfect recipe for us if we are in need. So if anybody that is listening to this talk today are experiencing fear, anxiety, if you can't sleep, or if you're worried, concerns, if your trials feels heavy, go back to that chapter and sincerely read that to get inspired so you can watch, be vigilant, and pray. Pray fervently, but present yourself with humility. It's the time for us to take all our little masks that sometimes we use and humble yourself. Don't need it to, it's just simple conversation from the heart. And ask, it shall give to you. We don't need it to specify it, because in the beginning I would say, oh, can you please do that? Can you please do that? Don't need it. Just ask for strength, courage, renew your hope, and you shall give it to you immediately. So this is a wonderful way for us to get together and go back and renovate our commitment with our own inner transformation, making light for ourselves and benefit of others. In this way, we're going to be together working the construction of good. That's why, burning question, what will be of you in the construction of good? Every single day, there are so many opportunities. And if we pray, we ask Jesus to help us to use every single opportunity during the day for us to collaborate in Jesus' harvest, collaborate with Him, and contribute for the construction of good. In this book, Vida Plena, unfortunately, I don't think it's in English yet, Divaldo Franco and Joana de Angelis, there is a passage that is very beautiful. A carnal existence is part of the great evolutionary experience which allows the promotion to higher planes of life. Everything that represents good, that promotes moral or whatever nature, do yourself without expecting an identical answer. So here, Jonah Janji said, anything that promotes a little bit moral improvement, do it without any expectation. Don't look if the others are doing. Just do it. Put the little extra joy in everything we do, and the opportunity will present yourself for us to share our light. And he says here, the lived and productive tree responded to stones, and one is loaded with fruits, donates them to his aggressor. So polish your feelings, find joy in everything you do. That's the message. Let's find a little joy in everything we do. If we take care of our children, let's put joy. Even when you do the dishes, put a little joy. Put joy in everything you do. You connect with the good spirits, and that is very contagious. You're going to be assisted in doing your best every single day. So, the invitation in closing our talk, we say, be the light and allow that the neighbors read Jesus' lessons through your actions. That's the invitation. Remember, we are never alone. There are many spirits watching us. So may we be the light that allowed not just our neighbors, our family, the people next to us, but also the spirits that are watching us. Help them to read Jesus' lessons through our actions. That's the best protection we have. When we put a little joy and we connect with Jesus, and every single day ask guidance for us to do everything is possible for the construction of good. That's the best protection we have, because we attract the spirits that want to contribute with the goodness as well. So this is the talk, and I would like to end our talk with a reading from the book Courage, that I found that there was another chapter that was just perfect for closing. And right after the reading, we are going to do a closing prayer. So if you want it, you can start it right now, closing your eyes, and just benefit for the words, and also start already feeling, because I know the good spirits are here with us. You're going to start feeling already. They're sending good energy for each of us. At this exact moment, that's the chapter 14 in that book. At this very moment, you are in the most appropriate situation to exercise the understanding and help, in the most favorable circumstance to do good, with a heart attached to the right people, with whom you need to work and harmonize, with the task best suited to your needs, in the just responsibility that is must discharge. At the most important point to bear witness to his applications to fraternity, to recognize that our happiness is measured by the happiness we make for ourselves and others, to observe that many times it's better to lose in order to conquer than to conquer to lose, to adjust to patience and hope in order to consolidate one's success in the opportune moment, not to be discouraged by the difficulty in order to deserve the benefit, from smiling in blessings to receive sympathy and cooperation. And for that very reason, you are now at the exact moment to work to serve. and working and serving, you gain the certainty that every person who works and serves walk forward, and whoever walks forward for the good of all, you always find the best. This is a message from Andrea Luiz. So, with that, I invite all of us to raise our thought to Jesus. We thank you, Jesus, for your guidance, for our protection, and for the example of the lessons that you give us. You help, please, each of us because we are still experiencing so many tragedies and we are so uncertain yet our steps. So we come here, ask your guidance, your hands, help each of us strength, have a good decisions, help us to renew our commitment to collaborate with you and help in the construction of good. So we ask if we get fragile, if we hesitate, and if we forget this commitment, please, Jesus, help us to remember what's truly important in this incarnation for us. Help us to hold in your hands, and please hold it tight, because we don't want to lose sight track of your footsteps. We pray, Jesus, in this moment, bless this home, this spiritual home. Bless every single one that are here with us, and bless everybody that's going to listen to this prayer. May the good Spirit shower us with the energy that's going to revigorate us and capacitate us to start a new day tomorrow with more hope and courage in our heart. Bless everyone, dear Lord Jesus, that don't know you, don't know the Spiritism, and don't know the consolation and hope that we have so abundantly in our heart. May the good spirits spread this prayer and embrace the hearts of all of them that are in need of some hope and consolation. Bless this home, dear Lord, and help the flourish. All the point of lights around the United States and Brazil. Help all the workers from Spiritism to hold hands and continue the journey. Collaborate with you in your harvest. So we thank you so much for the blessings for tonight and help us today and ours. Thank you, and so be it. Thank you, my dear friends, for listening to our studies today.
Abigail, we are so happy to have you here. We are delighted to have your sharing your knowledge with us. And for everybody, I want to say thank you for participating in this talk. And I wish you all, let's follow what Abigail said about work with Jesus. So I wish you all peace and love and work a week that you can work with Jesus. Thank you,
Amen.
everybody. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Abigail.
Bye bye.
Bless you. Bye,
Bless you.
everyone.